In MMA, many fighters become champions. Some are strong, some are fast, and some are highly technical. But only a few become global superstars. And then there is Conor McGregor. He was not just a fighter who won matches, he became a name that changed how the world looked at MMA itself. At his peak, every time McGregor stepped into the cage, the entire sports world seemed to stop and watch. He was more than an athlete, he was an event. But this brings us to an important question. Was Conor McGregor's success only about talent, or was his timing something special? Did he arrive in the UFC at exactly the right moment? And did that timing make his rise almost untouchable? Let's break it down step by step and understand what really made him different. If you enjoy deep MMA stories like this, don't forget to like and subscribe to Iron Fist MMA for more breakdowns like this one. The early days, Conor McGregor was born in Dublin, Ireland, and he grew up in a working-class neighborhood. Life was not easy for him, and like many young people, he had to work regular jobs before he ever became a professional fighter. He worked as a plumber's apprentice and often struggled with money during his early years. He did not come from a rich sports background or a strong athletic system. Nothing was handed to him. But one thing always stood out: his strong belief in himself. Even when life was difficult, he stayed confident about his future. In 2008, McGregor started training in mixed martial arts. At that time, MMA in Ireland was still growing and not very popular or mainstream. It was not yet a big global sport. This became very important later, because McGregor did not enter a finished system. He entered a sport that was still expanding, changing, and growing worldwide, which created the perfect environment for his rise. When Conor McGregor joined the UFC in 2013, something important was already happening inside the sport. The UFC was growing fast and reaching more fans around the world, but it was still not as mainstream as sports like boxing or football. At that time, the UFC was actively looking for new stars who could bring attention, new markets that could expand the sport, and strong personalities who could attract global audiences. It needed fighters who could do more than just win it, needed people who could sell fights and bring excitement. This is where McGregor's timing becomes very important. He did not arrive too early when the sport was still too small, and he did not arrive too late when all stars were already established. He entered the UFC at the exact moment when the company was ready for a global superstar to take the spotlight. That timing played a huge role in his rise. Conor McGregor made his UFC debut in 2013 against Marcus Brimage. He won the fight by knockout in the first round. But this moment was not just another victory. It felt like a statement to the entire MMA world. From the start, McGregor stood out. He moved differently inside the cage, spoke with strong confidence, and carried a level of self-belief that many fighters did not show at the time. Most fighters in that era were quiet, respectful, and focused only on fighting. McGregor, on the other hand, was loud, bold, and fearless. But the real reason his timing mattered was not only about how he fought, it was about when he fought in UFC history. The sport was entering a new era where social media was becoming powerful. Highlights, interviews, and personality started to matter more than ever. McGregor arrived at the perfect time for this shift, and that changed everything. Around 2013 to 2015, something major changed in the sports world. Social media became the main stage for athletes. Platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube clips started shaping how fans followed fighters. Fighters were no longer only seen inside arenas. Now they were seen everywhere online on phones, computers, and news feeds around the world. Conor McGregor understood this shift better than almost anyone. He did not just fight inside the cage. He promoted fights like big entertainment events. He used bold interviews, strong and confident predictions, viral quotes, and public call-outs to get attention. Every word he said created discussion. Because of this, he became more than a fighter. He became a meme, a headline, and a constant talking point in MMA conversations. And this timing was perfect. The UFC itself was growing fast online, and McGregor was built for exactly this new digital era of fighting and global attention. Conor McGregor quickly moved up through the featherweight division, building momentum with strong performances. He defeated Marcus Brimage in his UFC debut, then went on to beat Dustin Poirier and Dennis Siver. Each win increased his popularity and pushed him closer to a title shot. Then came his biggest moment, Jose Aldo at UFC 194. But before understanding that fight, it is important to know who Jose Aldo was. He was considered one of the greatest featherweight champions in MMA history. For years, he had dominated the division and was seen as nearly unbeatable. However, when McGregor entered the scene, things in the division were already changing. A new wave of fans was joining MMA. Social media hype was growing fast, and attention inside the UFC was slowly shifting toward McGregor's personality and rise. Because of this, the timing of the fight promotion became extremely powerful, building massive global interest around Aldo versus McGregor. At UFC 194 in 2015, Conor McGregor faced Jose Aldo in one of the biggest fights in MMA history. The fight ended in just 13 seconds when McGregor landed a clean left hand and knocked Aldo out. It was one of the fastest title fight finishes ever seen in the UFC. But the real impact went far beyond the result. This moment happened at a perfect time. The UFC was growing globally, pay-per-view numbers were strong, and social media was exploding with clips and highlights. Fans around the world were constantly searching for new stars and big moments. McGregor didn't just win a fight, he created a global viral moment. That is where his timing truly looks untouchable. After beating Aldo, McGregor became the UFC's biggest star, one of the highest-paid fighters, and a global sports celebrity. He was no longer just an athlete, he became a brand. This also matched a bigger shift in combat sports with rising sponsorships, huge pay-per-view events, global expansion, and celebrity fighters. McGregor arrived exactly when MMA was becoming global entertainment. In 2016, Conor McGregor fought Eddie Alvarez for the lightweight title. He won by TKO and became the first UFC fighter to hold two belts at the same time. This was another perfect timing moment, as the UFC was focused on creating super fights, double champions, and global headlines. McGregor fit this plan perfectly. He was no longer just a fighter, he became the main face of UFC's global growth story. In 2017, Conor McGregor fought Floyd Mayweather in a boxing match. This was not an MMA fight, but a crossover event between two sports. It became one of the biggest combat sports events in history. The timing was very important. Boxing needed a huge attraction fight, MMA was getting global attention, and fans wanted big entertainment events, not just regular sport. Social media was also at its peak, spreading hype worldwide. McGregor entered the perfect moment. Even though he lost the fight, he became even more famous and earned massive money. The event showed how timing can create huge opportunities beyond your own sport. But timing is not only about success, it also has a downside. After his peak years, competition improved, younger fighters studied his style, and the UFC evolved. His opponents became more prepared for him. The same timing that helped him rise also made it harder to stay at the top, because sports never stop changing. After 2017, McGregor faced long inactivity, injuries, and breaks from fighting, along with distractions outside the cage. In MMA, timing matters a lot, and long breaks can affect speed, rhythm, sharpness, and focus. Meanwhile, new fighters kept rising, and the sport continued to move forward without slowing down. In 2018, Conor McGregor fought Khabib Nurmagomedov. Khabib controlled the fight and won by submission. This moment is often seen as a major shift in MMA history. It showed a new dominant champion, a stronger grappling style, and a new era in the sport. McGregor's timing advantage had faded as MMA continued to evolve. So what makes Conor McGregor's timing feel untouchable? It comes down to a few key factors. He entered the UFC during a period of global expansion, became a star as social media exploded, and fought top champions at the right stage of his career. He also created big moments when fans were most ready for them, and matched perfectly with the UFC's business growth. Very few fighters ever experience all of this at the same time. McGregor's story is not just about fighting. It is about opportunity, timing, confidence, market growth, and entertainment value. He showed that success in modern sports is not only about skill, it is also about when you arrive on the stage and how the world is ready to receive you at that moment. Conor McGregor's legacy is not simple. Some people remember his big wins. Some remember his tough losses. And some remember his bold personality inside and outside the cage. But one thing is very clear, he arrived at a special moment in MMA history. Everything around him was moving in the right direction. The UFC needed a global star. Fans were hungry for excitement. Social media was growing fast and spreading every highlight. And McGregor gave moments that the world could not forget. So what made his rise feel untouchable? Was it only skill? Or was it the perfect timing in a changing sport? The truth is, it was both talent and timing working together. He stepped into the sport exactly when everything was ready for someone like him. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like and subscribe to Iron Fist MMA for more deep MMA stories and fighter analysis like this.